You must think me some sort of freak. A girl who can bring dead men back to life. Whose only acquaintance is a giant bird creature. It must seem ridiculous.
You just got dealt a bad hand.
I am not going back to that tower no matter what happens.
They won't stop until they have you.
Why? What did I do to them?
You frighten them.
Good.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Bioshock Infinite. So we've arrived in Shantytown, which is probably the closest thing to Dunwall we're going to be seeing in this game. This is basically the deprived slums of Columbia. And I guess everyone that doesn't work in Finkton, or is like an oppressed minority, lives here. There is an infusion over there, but if I try to get it, those guys are going to attack me, and there's really no way around that. So let me take in the scenery a little bit before I trigger that encounter. Everyone here is peaceful, if not, unless you provoke them. Of course, this guy for some reason wants to be provoked. So I actually edited out an encounter there just for the sake of keeping up the appearances of things. Because this is a really nice, peaceful place, and I really didn't want to kill anybody. It really detracts from the mood. So this bar right here, you can hang out in here. There's a lot of loot you can get. I went back and got that infusion off screen. So as to, again, not affect the flow of things. So you do have to do that if you're going for all the infusions, but it does kind of suck that you have to kill these people that are essentially not here to hurt you, and they're really weak for that matter. But there's a voxophone I want to get in the basement, so let's head down here. Hey look, a kid ran away. Let's see if we can't get him to come out.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky.
That's just such a wonderful scene. Everybody loves that scene. And, you know, Troy Baker actually played the guitar for that, and Courtney Draper did the actual singing for that, so it's all genuine and authentic. Here's the voxophone I was talking about here from Daisy.
And down at the bottom of the city, I saw a fire burning. The fire's got heat aplenty, but it ain't got no mouth. Daisy. Now she got herself a mouth big enough for all the fires in Columbia.
She's always so hot.
Yeah, apparently a big theme with this town is hunger and just the lack of food. And all the propaganda and everything that's plastered all over the place tends to be about the lack of food. Let's see what we can do to change that. Maybe Elizabeth Powers will contribute to that. I'm sorry, that's terrible, I know, but that was actually kind of funny. And, you know, apparently food is worth its weight in gold, so they won't be needing their actual money. Somewhere along this road here is a piece of gear I want to pick up. I'm hoping for something good, but I've not had the best luck so far, and it's the LP curse, as you guys know. I guess that's another thing, is you don't really see a lot of children in the environments in this game, not a whole lot of kids. And I guess that's a good thing, because most of them would probably be brutally killed, which is not something anyone wants to see. There it is. Yeah, unfortunately this one's completely useless. Even though I said I was looking for ones that have Skyrail specific abilities, that one is just not one that is really useful at all. So let's take a look at what we're up against here. This is that that vault we got to get into that's got all of Chenlin's tools in it. And it's incredibly well guarded. It's got a bunch of guards in front of it. It's got some automatons. It's got some goddamn mortar turrets that you'd find on a Zeppelin. So we've got to do something about that. Let's clear out the opposition here. I'm not sure what that achievement was for. I think it was for just getting a certain amount of enemies in the same effect status from the vigor at the same time. When finally, I know we're enjoying the hand cannons so much, but I finally put it down again for the sniper rifle. The good old-fashioned sniper rifle we love so much. Mildly successful at hitting these guys. I didn't know about this vantage point actually the first couple times I played the game. I actually only saw this on my way back through this area after the fact. Okay, those mortar turrets have popped out, so we gotta get our ass in gear here. Yeah, let's jump on the sky rails and head up to that watchtower up there. I gotta jump over here, and there's gonna be a voxophone up here, as well as a tear for a rocket launcher, and there's also one for a mosquito here. The mosquito will draw the aggro of the mortar turrets, but these things are extremely powerful. Luckily, I have a decent amount of volley gun ammo left I can try to damage it with. I just gotta make sure I'm hitting my mark. These things have a lot of health. They're very tough to take down. I think I should be able to almost get rid of the first one here. You just gotta watch and make sure it's actually all the way dead, and its health bar is not just invisible or something. The amount of splash damage these things do is absolutely ridiculous. Hey look, it's Preston, the guy who was supposed to be assassinating Fitzroy.
You got a little cunning in you, if nothing else. Dropped a couple grizzly traps around the lines up here. Idea was to bleed one of your couriers till he gave you up. Except, of course, you're using kids now. Now I got this tiny engine boy eyeballing me. Tried to take his leg off. Damn thing's just lying here between us. I sure wish he'd cry or something.
Wow, so the Vox were sending kids to do their deliveries? That's ridiculous. So apparently, Preston thought he could catch a Vox courier, or even maybe Daisy herself in the skylines, but with those bear traps. And he did. Unfortunately, the Vox courier he caught was a kid. That's pretty messed up. I was just commenting on the lack of child brutality in this game, and then the game proves me wrong. In what other ways will this game defy my expectations? You will find out. Anyway, I put way too many rockets into those mortar launchers over there and finally destroyed them. This is actually a pretty unique encounter, because there's really not that many times when you fight those things as regular enemies. I mean, this is really the only time. So with the increased splash damage here, I'm just blowing away the opposition from afar, just shelling them with this thing. And then a Patriot decides and wants to come out, so we're going to keep shelling him too, now that we have all this supply of ammo over here. We should be able to deal with this encounter before we even go down to the front door of the vault, essentially. We shouldn't even have to really bother. This is an unconventional encounter for that reason, because it's such a long-range encounter, when the combat in this game is really not designed to be long-range. Although you really wouldn't know that based off of a lot of the game mechanics and the fact that you know, a lot of the earlier versions of the game featured like really long-range combat. But I guess the game is just versatile that way. It just works for both. But you know, the Bioshock series in general has really been a lot of very close quarters, that kind of thing. And this game does good at that. I guess my rocket launcher is pretty good. I don't know if I've upgraded the damage on it yet. I haven't been keeping track. But that splash damage increase is just phenomenal. And with enough extra rockets, we were able to take out that Patriot without any kind of vigor combinations or hitting it in its weak spot. Well, maybe I did hit it in its weak spot accidentally with the splash damage, but who knows. Here's the last guy. We're just gonna shoot a fish in a barrel and
You unlock this?
head on inside.
There you go.
Another thing with that encounter is you may occasionally get enemies on sky rails that'll come up to you while you're up there. I had one guy do that while I was listening to the voxophone there. Alright, this could potentially be a problem. We've got to get to wherever inside the vault Chenlin's tools are. And there's a lot of stuff going on here, but this is a heavily fortified place, so we're probably going to encounter heavy resistance. So, Shock Jockey, Murder of Crows is going to be my combination of choice here. At least there's no damn security cameras in this game like the previous Bioshock games, but then again, the technology is not really there for that, but then again, I say that in a, that's a suspension of disbelief in a game where you have a city that floats in the sky. And there's honestly quite a lot of electricity in this game for a game that takes place in 1912. We get that achievement for getting a certain amount of tears opened. This encounter is going to break out right here. I deployed this cover so we can get better shots on these guys up at the second level. The rocket launcher is one-shotting these guys right now, so that's pretty good. Eventually, we'll have to upgrade its damage again to be able to do a decent amount of damage to regular enemies. But it's all in good fun. What was I saying? Yeah, the security cameras in the previous Bioshock games were derivative of a mechanic from System Shock 2. So that's another reason why the franchise is kind of dead in some people's eyes, is because, you know, everything that made it remotely similar to that game is gone. But, you know, it has other things going for it, so. Now, I'm out of sniper rifle ammo, and Elizabeth is probably not going to be generous enough to toss me one. So, there's actually a crank gun in this room I might pick up just to demonstrate it some more, because I really haven't used it a whole lot, and I really feel like tearing in some enemies a new one with this thing. There's a tear here for the crank gun, and we're just going to bring it in. I typically do this. I've done this in all my runs, even though I don't recommend a crank gun really ever. Send my minions to flush you out. Jesus, fish, it's a patriot! Well, that was unexpected. And imagine your surprise if you're still sat behind that cover, fighting off the enemies, and this guy comes up from behind you and just charges your position like they tend to do. Those Patriots are freaking terrifying when they do that. I should be able to outcrank him here, and we'll see who cranks hardest, whatever innuendo you want to make about that. Or if you're referencing a Jason Statham film, who knows. I just picked up another magazine and a half for it, so we're going to keep using the crank gun. Yeah, in my last test run, I think in the run before that as well, when he came in, I was just facing that cover, so as soon as he came in, it was just the, you know, oh shit reaction of quickly go up the stairs. So, actually that went pretty well this time around. I was expecting him, and I was able to get a quick kill on him with the shock jockey, because he was more susceptible to damage. Well, the crank gun would not nearly take him out that fast. Almost out of ammo for it.
Elizabeth, little help?
Alright, a brief respite from combat here will allow us to lockpick our way into this room. There's little notes on the wall there. There's a wanted poster, which might be interesting to look at. There's some more rocket launcher ammo here if we need it, and a fusion. I'm going to drop the crank gun for this carbine. Ooh, Headmaster. That should be pretty good.
Nice.
Let me adjust my setup real quick and see if I have room for that to be implemented. Storm is pretty critical to me. I really do like Storm, because that's one that allows the vigors to be chained to one another, the effects. Let's see. Really? That's the only one I have? Okay, I'll hold off on that for now, but like I said, I highly recommend that one. That one has a lot of potential. So if we were to get a headshot or any other type of critical hit on a weak spot to an enemy, so the handyman's heart or the Patriot's gear on its back, the damage from that would be increased significantly, which is always a good thing. Now I believe there is this chest right here. We got there's a voxophone that's relevant to that. I think you have to pick up like a key or a password or something for that. This voxophone explains the first half of the story.
They pay me to hate the goddamn Vox, and I take their money, but what's the harm of having a drink with Fitzroy's people? Face to face at the graveyard shift, why, they're just folk. Well, I guess I fell into the goddamn bottle because I stumbled back without the evidence locker key. If Schmidt finds out, well, there'll be hell to pay.
Yeah, he mentions there that the key was in that saloon there in Shantytown where we played the song for the kid. That's actually where we found it. It was in that basement with the voxophone that Daisy had. So that's where we found the key for it, so I didn't have to backtrack to complete that because I already had the objective. Which is nice. I mean, I don't know why you would get those the other way around unless you did not go in that basement.
To get them back to the Vox, and then we get our airship. Think you can pick this?
I can do that. It's done.
For some reason, I guess the Columbia Police really care about this Chen Lin guy's tools because they've got him locked down tight. I mean, what's the worst he could do? Start an uprising? I mean, come on. There's some little details over here, like a body that's covered in disgusting roaches and a lockpick over here. I thought there was a voxophone down here too, but I could be mistaken.
We sure as hell aren't gonna be able to carry all this back to the shop. God, we didn't think this all the way through.
Oh, how about that? Some money and more carbine ammo.
Take it.
Not that I need it.
What is that?
Oh boy, here we go again.
Another version of this room that doesn't have any tools in it.
Well, if the tools aren't in there,
Then they must be back
back at the shop.
Booker, if we go into this tear-up, I don't think there's any turning
Hope you like the space-time continuum, guys, because we're about to... Yeah. And now, yet again, from this point on, everything changed.
I aim to be on that airship.
Everything changed. We are in a whole new Columbia yet again.
There's going to be a revolution just
So we have a new weapon type here. We have the Vox burst fire gun, which is essentially a modified carbine with a special optic on it that looks very like thrown together, and it's got a like a muzzle brake on it that for some reason allows for a 3-round burst. There's a new voxophone up here too on our way out.
You ever see a forest at the beginning of a fire? Before the first flame, you see them possums and squirrels running through the trees. They know what's coming. But the fat bears with their bellies full of
things. You're part of it.
I don't want to be a part of it. Once we get our airship, we'll be well shut of this place.